So we finally had the intro music work today, hopefully.
Just
Welcome,
waiting for
Marco.
Kaufman to break in.
Marco, the founder of the league.
Founder and commissioner.
Yeah, yeah.
Is
And
it
Ruling
two-time
with
or
an
one-time
iron
champion?
fist.
the big question that I think everybody wants to know from you is how many times a week do you shower?
Well, I think it's more than Matt Gander, that's
There
for
are wrong
sure.
answers here.
Yeah, I like
There
to
are
do it
definitely
one.
wrong answers.
Yeah, lots of wrong answers. I like to do it definitely every day before I go to work because I'm sitting in a small room with patients and I need them to come back.
I'm sure your
And if I
staff and
smelled like
client.
Matt Gander, it would be difficult. So yeah,
You are running a
I'm
successful busineth.
yeah,
That's
I
why you're.
can't.
That's why you're commish.
What did Gander say? Like 3 times a month? I can't remember, but it was low.
I think he said I believe it was 3 to 5 times every couple weeks. So
Okay.
he's on a
Okay.
semi-annual shower routine.
That's what happens when you work from home.
I guess so. That's a
COVID
luxury.
living.
So
COVID
Marco,
living.
what does MLA stand for?
There was another theory I thought about. It was the Modern Language Association was my next one.
Yeah, that was almost what it stood for. It was
Yeah,
the Turndogg. He got it right on the first episode. It is Marco's League of Awesomeness. I don't know when the league was forming. We were trying to come up with some names. They were just like all kinds of wacky names, and then it just ended up being MLA, Marco's League of Awesomeness. The mouth like anus though, that
But
that is very good.
out of all the abbreviations that you could have chosen, and then for it to wind up that abbreviation to wind up on a show about fantasy football, the odds
Yes,
of that
that
are
I know that was very funny when that episode came out because I remember it was just like, wow, that came out. It was a few years after we already had like we were here
was
first. But
was that
that
South
episode
Park?
was
no, it's
no
the league.
the league.
Oh, the league. Yeah.
Yeah, we had been already for 4 or 5 years. I have to check what year that episode came out, but it was finally when that came out. I remember like Jamie had said at the time, he's like, now I finally know what the league, stands for here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. Perfect. What
Did
a
you
great
watch?
episode.
Did you watch that show like religiously when it was on?
Not religiously, no, no. But
So
I've seen it all multiple times
did
now.
somebody tell you about it and then you went and watched the episode, or did you stumble across it
I
yourself?
I'd already been watching the show, but I that one, like I said, when you made the comment, now I know what it stands for. Then I had to go and just immediately find out what. I had to watch the episode after you said that. But yeah,
Yeah.
I would have watched it at some point. But once you said that, I'm like, well, we gotta see what's going on here with Andre.
I missed that show. I missed that show. I one of their videos popped up on my YouTube feed about a week or two ago, and now I've just been flooded by league blooper
Oh
reels and
yeah,
10-year
yeah,
anniversaries.
Kristen
yeah.
gives me shit whenever I watch that show because the legend is she was watching it before any of us when she was streaming, just randomly watching the show. And she was telling me about it. And I didn't give her the time of day until one of you guys brought it up and said, you should watch this show. And I said, great. And I thought it was hilarious. So she's very bitter that I wouldn't listen to her, but I listened to you guys from my fantasy football league, which I usually
It's
take most of my advice from
it is
anyway.
one of I'm glad Kristen likes it. It's one of the actual shows that Cynthia and I have watched together because a lot of it's fantasy football ish, like tangentially there, but it's just guys being idiots. And she's like, this is so funny. Of course, most of it's inappropriate now and you can't really watch that, but
Yeah,
or
I
you
wonder.
shouldn't
I
be
wonder
really.
if a show like that would get made nowadays, because there was. I mean, I watched a pretty good 15 to 20 minute video of the best of Rafi, and that was oh my God, I forgot some of the stuff that guy said.
Yeah, some of that, I like the early ones with the when it was a little not more football, maybe it was like at the very first or second episode where they're picking like their draft order, just watching the kids run at a birthday party. It's just a funny thing. And then John Lejeune, song, singing, he was always funny. But now you can just watch it on Disney Plus anytime you want. It's always there for you, just waiting.
Did you know
Wholesome
too
Disney
that
show.
Did you know too that
That's right.
the one guy claimed that he was either in New York or he was in one of the Twin Towers on 9/11, and it turned out to be he completely made it up and got in
Oh,
big shit for it.
yeah, that's
Made up just like the terrorist attack made up.
Oh, whoa. That is not this podcast. No. Save
that's
that
I
for
think
you. Save that
I was
for
gonna
you.
say save that for when Low is on.
So Marco, how are you feeling about your season so far? You've managed to put together a respectable
I
2
Yeah,
record without Eckler.
yeah, my team is pretty bad. I'm just sad about the whole thing. Every time I look at it, I just think, what a dumpster fire. But yeah, it would be nice to have Austin Eckler in there. Thankfully, he has his bye this week and time to rest up, come back next week, and
So was Eckler missing time? Did that give you more incentive to try and work out a trade with Theo?
uh, yeah, yes, yeah, let's say yes to that because it was, Eckler getting injured or anytime you have your best player, someone that you're counting on, your first round pick or whatever, get injured, it's tough to make that up. Like there's no replacement for the number one running back.
Yeah.
So I tried to insulate myself at the draft when I had Miles Sanders. I'm like, okay, he'll be fine. I spent some money on Najee Harris because I thought, that Pittsburgh offense should hopefully be a little better. Anyway, he's also terrible. So I'm sitting here with these terrible guys that I thought I could plug in. And yeah, and then it just worked out a trade with Theo, managed to get some running backs there. I was not a big Joe Mixon fan, but he's just so bad. I'm just watching DJ Moore pile up yards here.
And
It's
Yes,
awesome.
I'm also watching that.
interesting, Joe Mixon hasn't lasted longer than a week in this
So he was
league.
is that he's who you moved to Mathers at the
I
draft,
had him
right?
for a matter of hours before I got him off my team. He's a cancer in the locker room, I guess. No one can handle him.
And then he went from you to Mathers, from Mathers to Theo, from now Theo
Yeah.
to Marco.
Yeah.
So he's
Yes.
been
So I was not like this whole trade with Theo. I was not looking to get Mixon. Like he approached me with the trade. He was interested in. I asked him if I could divulge this information. He was interested in the young Rashee Rice, like so many other people have been, and I don't know. He offered me a kicker or something because you might have heard this. He has really good kickers on his roster,
he just
but
dropped one of them.
he did. Oh my gosh, he's been flogged, like pounding the WhatsApp group with, "I have good kickers. You guys should get one," and then
Wow.
messaging me, "I got kickers. You need a kicker." Anyway, I said I don't want a kicker, and then I just I was like it's a kicker, man. But then I was looking, and I thought, you know what? I'm not a big DJ Moore guy. He had a big game, and frankly, he's having another big game right now. But frankly, I'm not sure if Justin Fields will be able to get him the ball ever again. And I thought, you know what? Maybe I could move him, get some running back help, just some depth there. Because hopefully next week Eckler's back. Then I'll have Mixon and hopefully Miles Sanders is healthy. And that was the whole premise of this, how it all came about. And yeah, so this whole DJ Moore trade with Theoret evolved out of a kicker for Rashee Rice.
And now there's a kicker on the waiver wire.
Yeah, now yeah, wait till I put a huge bid on Saturday for that.
Get your fab dollars ready, boys.
Well, you don't have any left, Turner.
No. What is that? You got zero bids now.
Yep.
$0 bids available.
That's all you need for
anyway.
a kicker, though.
So when did that rule change with because we weren't always allowed
No,
to Do
Yeah, it was
$0
just
bids.
yeah, it was just $1, no $0 bids. I don't really like the $0 bids, um, because then it's like you just get bailed out all the
Right.
time, so you can keep picks. So instead of being smarter with your picks there, that happened with during the first like the COVID season because
Right.
you'd all of a sudden get a guy ruled out. Oh yeah, by the way, yeah, he's not playing now, and you're sitting there like, well, so there was a lot more roster movement, so we changed it to $0 bids.
It definitely changes the strategy because, for example, the Jerome Ford, so many people put very high dollar values bids on that. I don't think they would have been so high if zero bids didn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. Because at the end of the season, you're never stuck. Because I recall previous years for myself or other players, you're getting close to the playoffs and you're just saving a dollar or two because if the day before a game, kicker gets injured or your one tight end, something happens, you need to get a
Yeah,
replacement. So then you needed that dollar there. But anyway,
I do like it. I do like this for real. That's for those
yeah,
reasons that you just mentioned.
What are some other
yeah.
rules that we've changed over the years? I know we went to decimal scoring. There was the announcement of keepers has changed.
Yeah, the decimal scoring, that one I could take it or
Which
leave it.
screwed me last
Yeah.
week, by the way, because both number I faced Fiber and lost by less than half a point. Both scores would have rounded down to a tie.
Did you also do the math? Maybe all of his, like, if he was getting like 0.8 on a bunch, maybe he would have actually been a point or two lower. You should check that math. Maybe
True,
he would have
maybe I
won.
should have. Maybe I would have won by the old system.
Yeah, I think people just got tired, honestly, of ties.
There was an
Yeah,
absurd amount of ties.
Yeah. And I just, whatever, ties happen. Who cares?
Well, that's part of the reason why I love the league so much is because it it almost always comes down to the final week or
The
two
last,
before the
yeah,
playoffs start.
every week or every year, it's always nothing is ever settled. There's been some years where it's like one team is in, the last three spots are open. So
And it's quite often open for half the league
y-
can.
yes, yeah. It used to keep track like the last few weeks, write a little blurb of, oh yeah, these guys are out, or the last couple of years, it's like I'm not even going to write anything because 10 teams could make the playoffs, and then if you win lose, too many scenarios. So
Right.
and I speak for most people in the league that we do appreciate those updates at the end of the year, Marco. So keep them up.
DJ
Find
Moore
time in
is
your busy schedule to write
DJ
those.
Moore has 126 yards and a touchdown already, and I don't even think is it even in the second quarter? I
the
think the
second
second
quarter
quarter
just
just started.
started. It just started.
Oh my God.
I wonder who has the Commanders' defense. They must be pretty worried right now.
They're about to get many sacks, and
They
then
should
also
save it for
probably
the
a
fourth.
Justin Fields fumble coming up right now.
Return for a touchdown?
For
Oh,
the record,
even
Marco
better.
has the Commanders' defense.
Yes, I think we all know that.
For all
At,
the listeners out there who aren't
all the
following,
listeners.
And is that another touchdown for
DJ
DJ
Moore
Moore?
touchdown.
All right, so he's got probably close to a 30 burger on us.
If you were in the group, I already posted he's hungry for a burger.
Yeah.
wow,
25.7 points already, and we're
It's a
about a
good
minute
start.
into the second quarter.
The Commanders are a very good matchup for wide receivers. So
Oh boy.
it was bound.
Is Fabio getting a little worried about Justin Fields, who is his quarterback?
No, he hasn't mentioned anything like that. I mean, he's doing all right tonight. So
Yes, he is.
couple
touchdowns,
touchdowns
156.
already. Yeah,
He had
since we're
5
here, I
last
might
week,
have
I think.
getting. Oh yeah, I'm gonna hydrate too. I need a nice refreshing can of
What do you have
water.
there?
Just a can of
Oh,
water,
water.
refreshing.
Oh, yeah. North
Water.
Bay
Yeah.
water. Very good.
Yeah,
Straight out of the lake.
straight up.
So
No, this is Sarnia water. It's right
Oh,
from
so
the
it's
St. Clair
cleaner.
River. St. Clair River.
Perfect.
Turner, so
Perfect.
you have through 4 weeks 1-3 record, yet you have the second most points. 4
And what about points get against?
points against you.
Probably the highest.
I
Or
mean, with
close.
that record, it would lead me to believe
It
you
is
are.
significantly higher. Actually, I have about 80 points more than more against than most people, or the next highest.
You actually.
Yeah, that's my defense. That's the way she goes. I'm actually impressed that I had that many points. Now that I've got Jonathan Taylor coming back.
Well, that's another thing. It goes back to what Marco said: is if you lose, like, it, you almost have to weather the injury story. If one of your big guys gets hurt, if you can just kind of piece together a 50-50 record till they get back, you've done your job. But
Yeah, I was happy with my that I got pulled off one win because I didn't have a running back for the first 2 games.
and last week, what was the final score there?
Oh, with Fimer.
Yeah.
I'll get it shortly, but it was less than a half a point difference. Fimer beat me.
Oh yeah.
Mahomes had a terrible game. That's why.
It was
Oh yeah.
ridiculous.
I remember I
It
texted
was
him.
100. It was 100.48 to 100.12.
Whew,
So
those
it's like
are
0.36, 0.36 point difference.
Bring back the ties. Get rid of
I,
those decimals.
and Fimer made a joke before to me. He said, "I guess it's Butker versus Mahomes tonight," and I was feeling pretty confident.
as you should.
You should
Until the
with that.
second quarter, I texted Fimer. I said, "I honestly don't feel too confident about this right now." It was the Taylor. Too many Swifties in the crowd.
The amount of
Yeah.
times that they cut to that woman during a football game is driving me nuts.
See, I don't think they're cutting enough.
Really?
Oh yeah, it
Oh,
keeps it interesting
you're
during
a
downtime.
Swiftie then. You're a
It keeps
Swiftie.
it.
he's always been a Swifty.
Marco, how many times have you won the league?
Twice.
So we've been trying to figure out. This
That's
is
what I thought. Two-time
this is
champion.
our 16th year.
Yeah, 2008 was the first year.
So
I
we're
know you guys were discussing that on the last
right.
pod there with Gander when he
I
blew
think
all his.
one of our options was 2008.
Yeah, it was 2008, 2009. It was 2008 because that was, Gander went crazy at the beginning of the auction. Because 2007 was when the Patriots had their crazy offense, Brady, like whatever, 50 touchdowns or 49. And then the next year, first pick or first nomination, Tom Brady, Gander, 76 or something crazy. And okay, you got him. Next nomination, Adrian Peterson, 99. You got him. Okay, well, I'll take a shower now. So, and then of course Tom Brady got injured right away, and that
Oh, that was the Matt
affected
Castle
game.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because every time we try to count down how many people have won or how many times they've won, we can never
Yeah.
get up to 15. So we know how many times has Mathers won, Joe?
5
times.
That is fucking absurd.
It's
That is absurd. Yeah.
I've got the whole history right there. 5 for Mathers, 3 for Watson, 2 for me.
3 for Watson.
Yeah, and then Jamie, Fimer, Lowe, and Gander each have 1.
Wow. 5. That pisses me off so much. God damn it. How do you fucking win 5 of those?
I know how I think I mentioned this in the first episode. I feel like I'm a culprit. I gave Mathers Marshawn Lynch, who he kept at the same time when he had Ray Rice for a very cheap price, so he could build around those running backs. That's my theory. I lose
I
sleep
forgot to
over
mention
that.
Theo won as well. He'd probably be angry if I didn't bring that up.
Well, we should have just let that. You should just let that go. We'll bring Theo on the next episode and see
That's right. See what he
what he
says.
thinks about that. So that's interesting that you theorize that Mathers has built all these championships off of the back of uh, his successful running backs, but running
Well, the
backs
first couple anyway.
running
First
backs have
couple.
changed so much now in the league that you don't have too many of those bell cow because running backs would always be the most expensive, and now it seems like there's more committees than there are. I mean, there's maybe what, five, six guys that are bell cows.
And
And
those are
e-
the guys who go for high price.
Right.
and even the bell cows, or however we want to refer to a bell cow, like I would say, Austin Eckler is, but he still barely gets like 15 carries a game
Right.
because now it's just all about, touches. You'll get 15 carries, but you get 100 catches in a year, and one catch is worth like 4 carries based on,
Yeah,
how much.
I heard that on another podcast too, that a catch is so much more valuable than a running back carry. And it's, I mean, I
Yeah,
guess
if you're busting out 4 or 5 yards a carry, that's one thing. But you get a catch, you get more space. Like obviously these receivers are averaging over 10 yards a catch. And anyway,
I haven't been
just
tracking. I haven't been tracking. I've been following Gibbs a little bit, but I haven't been tracking Bijan. How is his year going? Does anybody know?
oh yeah, he's having a good year. He's Tyler Algier is probably more involved than Bijan owners would like.
Right, but
He
there
seems to be getting a
and
lot
that
of
goes
work.
back to that point that you just made that yeah, even a bell cow, there's still someone behind him that's going to be
There's
stealing 10, 12 touches a game.
Yeah, there's those guys like getting, 20 carries a game. That's just not happening
I
unless you're
remember like
Derrick Henry.
I remember guys were like Maurice Jones-Drew and those guys back when we originally started. They would get like close to 30 carries a game every game.
Yeah, the game has definitely changed. Obviously, all these guys are, they're throwing the ball all the time now. Absurd quarterback numbers. If you had a quarterback throwing for 4,000 yards and 28 touchdowns before, you were like, wow, this guy's incredible. Meanwhile, nowadays you're like, that's bare minimum. Like Kirk Cousins is above that level every year. So
Marco,
the
what do you think?
whole
Marco, what do you think your best pick in this year's draft was?
my best pick. Um, there haven't been many good ones. Thinking about it, because
Did you draft Tank Dell?
no, no, I picked him up. I picked him up the week before he blew up there. So
Okay.
yeah, that would have been nice.
Um,
But yeah, my guys, I had a certain strategy there. So really, I was hoping, for one of those young guys like Jamison Williams or Rashi Rice that I got near the end of the draft, that would be a good pick if one of them comes on as the season goes on. But right now, there's been no good picks, I would say.
your
That's
most
the sad
memorable pick for me was Rashi Rice after I introduced him for $1. There was a pause, a countdown to two, and then Marco throws in a $2 bid just to snag him from me.
I just wanted to make sure nobody else knew I wanted him. The Rice name is lore really to a Roncone. It's
Yeah.
that's how I got my start in this game.
It's Ray Rice's brother-in-law. You know how that ended.
So my first year playing uh fantasy football was 1996, I believe. And we were Fabio was just big Jerry Rice guy. Just obviously everyone's a big Jerry Rice guy. You want a guy that scores 22 touchdowns in a 12-game season. So he first year I went to a draft. He took me because this they were doing a draft like at the end of July. Every year we always like have our draft date set at the draft because any other draft you're trying to arrange a bunch of guys to get together at one time, it's like impossible. And back in the 90s, it was like a little different with Zoom calls and whatnot, not
Well,
available.
you never know
So
when there's a dog fashion show, Marco.
you never
It's
you
hard to
never know.
predict.
You never know. Which which also was in season one of episode one of the league. Downward dog. So so this draft, we ended up doing this draft in July, and Fabio was like, "Oh, I'm not prepared. You've been reading some magazines. Come to the draft with me." So I'm just this young guy. I was 12 years old at this draft, and just saying like marking off names, doing stuff, trying to get Jerry Rice, but didn't happen. Anyway, so our team name was Jerry's Kids because we love Jerry. And then the next year, I had more research. I was more involved. We became the two Jerrys, and yeah, Jerry Rice was on the team that year. Got injured in week one, so it was sad. But still we love our Rices.
So what was
I
what
love the
was
history.
what was it that like what was the genesis of our league? Why did you decide to start one? Why did you
So
invite who got invited originally and
obviously you were invited right off the top. So
There's still some animosity here lingering.
I know
there's no animosity, even though I mean draft day is my Christmas now, so if I didn't have this league, I'd be
everybody enjoys it.
yeah.
But so we don't. Most of the guys in the league had been in a league. We did our BG football league in started in high school. I don't know, were either of you guys in that? I'm sure you probably did like BG hockey. No,
Yeah,
We
I
were
was
of course.
hanging out
Still,
with that BG crowd.
yeah,
I feel
still in
like
BG
I feel like
hockey.
we were in BG hockey. I remember I specifically remember going and doing at least a playoff draft out in
So yeah,
Brooklyn.
some of the guys, like obviously Feimer was in it, Corey, Watson, Theo, some other guys in the league. I don't remember now, but so we had the BG football league for years, and then it was still, I think it was sort of coming apart, or maybe there was a year it wasn't happening. I don't remember, but anyway, I think it was still going on, and then I just started this league alongside it because it was basically the same guys in the league were invited to play in this league, and then a few other guys. We were
Oh yeah,
just
you needed like spot fillers, okay.
we yeah, like so if someone showed up to a football game, they get invited, and the difference was I was like, yeah, that one was always just regular snake draft, and I said let's do a league. We'll have an auction. We'll get everybody together because with the BG draft, it was online. You do your auction. It's one thing, but I'm like, it's been years. It had been years since when I was a kid. Those drafts I did with Fabio, everybody was in somebody's living room. You're just sitting there. It's a whole different vibe when you're looking at people in the eyes. And obviously, doing an auction is even crazier. When
Is
you're
the draft that you went to with Fabio as a kid, was that
it
an auction
was
or was that a
no
snake?
regular snake draft, regular snake draft. So doing the auction, I think just the auction alone is I don't know how to describe it. It's just crazier. It's more intense. Everybody is, Shanza's looking at you, panicking it all the time. Just what's going on here? Why are these dollar values not matching what's on my page? Because somebody just gets a hard on for somebody. It makes no sense anymore. It's like I want that guy, and everybody does that. Everybody has a few names circled where they're just targeting somebody, and it's only worth whatever, a few dollars. But if two people want that guy, you're bidding more. And of course, then obviously the top guys, you want somebody. That's the nice thing about this in a snake draft. If you're picking 12th, good luck getting Justin Jefferson. If you're in an auction, everybody's on the table.
Getting back to Marco starting the league, just an interesting aside here. I remember you visited me in Stockholm in 2008 in the wintertime, and Marco,
I recommend Sweden in the winter. Yes.
yeah, great football team. There, we were walking on a bridge, and you pulled me aside, and you're like, "Joe, I want to talk to you about something." Cynthia was there. She kind of walked away a little bit. I was like, "Oh man, what's going on, Marco? Like, are you guys gonna break up here, or are you sick?" And you said, "Joe, I want to start a football league." I was like, "Oh, okay, all right. Sounds pretty fun." And then he explained all the rules. He had it all planned out.
It's, when you put it like that, Jamie's invitation doesn't sound nearly as good. I don't know if I flew over to see anybody else for a personal invitation.
Yeah, personal invite.
I didn't even want to go to Sweden. Why would I want to do that? Like,
Well, you had to talk this out.
this guy served us hot.
So who
This
was
guy-
who was the first person? I'm going to assume your brother, but then who was the first? Was Joe the first person that you reached out to?
I don't think so. I think I probably sent an email or just messaged a bunch of guys in the BG group at once and was like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" Like an auction draft style. And then obviously a bunch of guys did. Like Tremblay was in that league as well. So yeah, that's where most of the guys came from. And obviously Joe got a special invitation because,
A bridge in the middle of winter in Sweden.
I know. I was like, well, like a proposal here.
It sounds romantic. That feels like something that would be in the league too. Something like some
I
kind
can
of
imagine Kevin holding Ruxin's hand. Please,
yeah.
would you join me in the league?
And then Rafi just
it was
climbing
less
up
of
the
a
bridge.
proposal. It was less of a proposal, of more like you were contemplating the idea and you were running it by me.
Like if Joe approves of it,
Yeah,
then
it's gonna
okay.
work. It's gonna work. Oh, on that note, I forgot my conversation hat again.
It always comes on. It always makes its way on before the end of the episode.
How many conversation hats do you have?
Oh, it just gives me confidence.
I remember
Pot.
you were very confident at the ranch.
Yeah, and I was looking for that black hat, especially with Marco, because I bought that hat with Marco actually, but my little kid was playing cowboy and I don't know where it went. So
I was looking for that hat recently as well.
yeah,
I have a feeling somebody that I married may have done something to it. Like, why do we have this cowboy hat in here? Why wouldn't we have it? Like, come on.
Well, here's another connection I'm going to make. So this is a female cowboy Western hat from Bayfest concert, the Bayfest concert in Sarnia. But there is a connection because MLA, the first year was 2008, and in 2008 Taylor Swift was on the lineup to come to Sarnia Bayfest, and I know a lot of the listeners here are from the Sarnia area.
But she did not.
So
she did not show up though.
So Swifty, it has a connection to MLA.
But she did not show up though, right?
She's a little. She bailed last minute.
Bailed.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, people showed up to the concert and they didn't realize she had bailed. They were furious with her.
Jesus Christ! This conversation is like a Seinfeld episode. Just you end with that amazing.
Yeah, the Swifty connection.
Pulling the golf ball out of the whale's blowhole, man. That's good stuff right there, Turner.
Yeah, a lot of history. It's a lot. In 16 years, a lot happens.
I'm honestly shocked that it's been. Marco, how much longer are we doing this?
I don't know.
I mean, aside from it, one team has had a little bit of turnover, but the other 11 of us have been there from the start. So
none of us are bigger than the league, and none of us will never die. None of us will ever die because the league never dies. That's from Full Metal Jacket.
We're all
Marines.
Some of us are smart and are having kids to take over the franchise. Some of us have not thought that through.
Oh. I don't even get. I don't know about you guys. I'm assuming it's the same, but I do not get a lot of football watching time. Like Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night are basically my times to watch games, and that's.
And now we're running a podcast Thursday nights because it's the only time to do it.
I got the computer in front of me. I got the TV right beside it. Just
boys, we got a few seconds left. Marco, thanks for joining us. Great insight into the history of the league.
Yeah, we could have talked for hours.
but nobody wants to hear that.
All right, see you boys.
Take it easy.